Hello, one and all, and welcome back to Fightful MMA. My name is Harry Kettle, and today I'm being joined by a very special guest. He is the one, the only, reigning, defending KSW heavyweight champion of the world. It's Phil DeFries. Phil, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having us on the show, Harry.
That's more than okay, my friend. As we all know now, it's just been announced, KSW 50, you will indeed be headlining the card, defending your title once again. Plain and simple, how does it feel to be headlining just such an iconic show for Europe's leading promotion?
Oh, it's amazing. I felt great to defend my title in Wembley last time, but now it's an even more iconic show, even stronger card. It's going to be another great night. So everyone, it'll definitely sell out. So everyone try and get your tickets while you can.
You mentioned after the win in London that you and your girlfriend were trying to get a house. How's the process going? That was about 8 months ago now. How are things going with all that?
She keeps wanting the house, and I keep putting it off. But I think one more win, they'll be good to go.
I think, especially on a stage like KSW 50, surely that's more than enough to get the job done.
Yeah, but you get more money, you want a better house.
Yeah.
Keep going keep deciding want a better house. So we're happy where we are, but. If she wants a house, she does want a house.
That's a good point. Now, outside of the octagon, it's something that we don't really get to see from MMA fighters. We don't get to see necessarily what happens behind the scenes, aside from a few maybe embedded episodes in UFC or things like that. What do you like to get up to for fans who might not know about, more about your personal life?
Well, I've got two little girls, and my girlfriend's went back to work, so I'm full-time carer for my two daughters during the day. So I'll get up in the morning, have my breakfast, go to the gym, look after the girls all day, then my girlfriend will come home. I'll go to the gym again, then I'll go to sleep. So not a lot going on. Find a bit of time for PlayStation. Maybe see my friends once a month, but not a lot, just family times. But I'm happy.
What do you play? PlayStation. What's your go-to game? Go-to genre?
Oh, I do like apocalypse games. I've just done that Days Gone. It's bang average, though. It's all right. It's not great. It's no Last of Us. No. But I don't know what to get yet. Any recommendations?
No. I was just about to mention Last of Us because I think there's so much pressure on it to make the sequel as good or even better than the first one. But they just said about the PS5 as well. Have you already if you're a proper gaming geek, do you have your eye on the industry stuff, or is it more just whatever comes out?
A little bit. It's not due out for. It's not next year, the year after, is it?
It's going to be a while, but people are going to be keeping track of it like mad, aren't they?
Yeah, but. Who cares, another one will come out, then another one, then another one. It's going to buy more.
It's true. Well, back to, obviously, the world of mixed martial arts. Polish promotion, KSW, you've had to fight over there a couple of times. I was over there in Wrocław. I think it was last April. I think people were expecting you to do some bits, but maybe not necessarily considering you to be the favourite. You went in there, did the job, got the finish. Did you feel like you were, or do you still feel like you're a bit of a panto villain in Poland, given how many of these Polish guys you've been knocking off, or do you think they're starting to warm to you?
Yeah, they're a really good fan base, the Poles, and they get behind the guys they like, and they want to see Polish guys winning. So I don't understand why they want me to lose, but I'm winning them over, Each fight, I think they quite like me a bit, and they like us each fight, and I'm not going anywhere, so I have to get used to me,
As a country, what do you think of it? Because I've been a couple of times now. I think anyone who's been will say it's an absolutely beautiful place. One of the most underrated countries in all of Europe, really.
Oh, it's fantastic. I couldn't believe how good it was. Everywhere I've went, it's been unbelievable. It's fantastic, It's I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. You need to go to Poland, everybody. Wrocław, Warsaw, Łódź. Where else have I been? Gdansk, all beautiful. It's crazy.
It's funny how people always say, the Polish want to come over here. I think we should be the ones wanting to go over there at this point.
Yeah, well, when they joined the EU and they all came over here to we had an influx of Polish immigrants to work.
Yeah,
I thought, oh God, I thought it must be horrible over there. I thought it'd be terrible. And I went there and I went, this is better than England. It's crazy.
you mentioned that you're not going anywhere. You are KSW's mainstay right now. Is that where you see your future? For maybe the rest of your career now.
Well, I'm very happy here. They put on great shows. Martin and Miocic. They're both are interested to come and talk to you. I've never had the owners of a promotion have that much interest in the talent and that much interest in how they run the show. It's great, you know. I mean, but I'm in it to get cash for the girls, so I'll go where the cash is. But it'll have to be a good offer to pinch me away.
Yeah, and you mentioned the shows there. Try and put into words for people watching this who might not have experienced one of their shows live. Try and put into words what the show itself is like and what it means to be there live.
It's fantastic. A lot of people compare it to what Pride used to be. They put so much in the production values, like the sound's perfect. They put the light and the build, the promote the fights. You only have a very small card of maybe 10 fights, but the build it fantastically. I've never been to one where it's not a sellout. It's the crowd's nice. It's fantastic. You know, it's unbelievable.
Now, ever since you left the UFC, you've obviously been on a tear, maybe even the tear of your career. What would you say in the last couple of years the main thing about your game is that's improved the most? What would you say you look at and think that has really come on leaps and bounds lately?
It's just the mental aspect. I used to suffer from depression and anxiety, especially anxiety, an unbelievable amount. It's something I've always had since I was a child. And on the start of my win streak, I started getting treatment for my anxiety. And luckily, this doesn't happen with everybody, but like the medication I got put on just wiped the anxiety out, got rid of it, like this chronic, terrible anxiety where I couldn't perform well, like I couldn't box, I was terrified of everything. And then that was just gone. So when I fought, I was a little bit scared, you know, scary stuff. But the terror was gone, and I could just perform and be great, you know. So my game's not, well, they say it's 90% mental, and it is, you know. So I honestly feel I'm 5-0 as a pro now. Those fights when I had the anxiety, I wasn't even improving. I didn't even improve as a fighter each fight because I was so terrified I couldn't like think and learn from the experience. But like now, each fight I'm just going to get more and more dangerous.
I was going to mention that, you know, all the mental health things that you've spoken about already. I think so many people have their own experiences with it. I think it's so important for people like you know, these heavyweight, you know, monsters in the cage to come out and talk about it. Was it CBT that you went through to start off with the anxiety and stuff like that?
Oh, well, I went too. They offered me lots of counselling,
yeah,
but I was too anxious. I thought, I can't speak to somebody. No, I won't do this. Blah 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 blah. Thought of all these reasons why I couldn't do it. Then I was like, look, I just want the medicine. Blah blah blah. And so I ended up getting the medicine, and it cured. Like it didn't cure it, but it helped so much. Then I went back when I wasn't so anxious. I went back and got the therapy, and that kind of helped a little bit. But I don't know. I'm like scared to come off the medication. I'll happily stay on this medication for life because since I've started taking it, I've become a better person. I'm so much happier. The anxiety's gone. The fighting's took off. I'm earning loads more money. It's like I could be the poster boy for this medication. I really could.
Do you think is that the one thing you think that fighters? Maybe fighters, maybe people in general, fans, media members, the one thing they need to do is that piece of advice you'd give for people struggling? Just go and talk to someone. Is that the main thing you'd say?
If you're struggling, yeah. But my problem was I didn't know what mental health issues were.
Yeah.
I'd always had anxiety since I was a child. I was kind of raised with anxiety, so I didn't know I had anxiety. I thought it wasn't with something which came on. It's something that was always there. So I didn't even realise what anxiety was. It's like if you'd have said, "Oh, I've got anxiety," I'd have thought, "Oh, man up," even though I was suffering it from it like crazy, you know. So I mean, you've got to educate yourself, and if you're struggling, you know, you've got to reach out and get help, and there is help out there.
Yeah, but just again, massive props to you, you know, because I think the fact that you're kind of almost an official spokesperson for this kind of thing in MMA is really important, and hats off to you. Just to quickly jump again back over to MMA. For you, when you were in the UFC, the strength of schedule in terms of what you had to go through, at the time it was a bit of a murderer's row, you know, Stipe, Mitrione, Duffy. What was it like going back in time, putting yourself in that mind frame of being, you know, much younger and in a different stage of your career? What was it like to be positioned opposite some of these guys now that you can look back on it?
I mean, all that was my anxiety was so bad. I fought all those guys and I was absolutely terrified of them. not just terrified of them, terrified of losing, terrified of getting laughed at, terrified of not having any money, or if I lose the fight, I'll have no money, I won't be able to find work, I'll lose the house, everyone will hate us, I'll be a laughing stock. Honestly, those fights, I mean, those guys are murderers. They're the best in the world, they're killers, you know. But they got me, you know. They're great guys. I fought them again. They might get us, but I didn't lose because I was worse. I lose because I bottled the job, you know.
Well, now we obviously know that one of those men that I just mentioned, Stipe Miocic, is going back after the belt against Daniel Cormier. Given that you kind of have employed more of a ground and pound wrestling style recently, especially in your fights, and it's been, you know, so key for you getting the job done and things like that. It feels like, you know, you're more, if you were going to measure yourself against the two, you're more like DC, and it's interesting that he is fighting Stipe again. How would you kind of predict that's going to go?
It's hard to go against. They're both elite level athletes, and at that level, anything could happen. Whoever lands could do it, but it's hard to go against Cormier. He's so good, and he's such a cool customer, and he's charismatic, and he's a very likable man as well. You know, and I've heard he's a very good bloke as well, a very nice bloke. So I'm going to go with Cormier. But at heavyweight, you can never tell, you know.
No, and one punch can do it, can't it? As we've all seen. Obviously, back to your fight, KSW 50, Damian Grabowski. If I may or may not be pronouncing that correctly, this is the man that's in front of you. This is the man you want to get through. With a fight like this, because you've had a couple of defenses now, and you've won the bout, and you've had a couple of defenses, is it difficult to kind of just look at the next guy and focus all of your energy on him? Because we've heard from champions in the past that sometimes when they're in this kind of run of consecutive defenses, why they lose is because they just kind of tend to lose focus, and they kind of think, oh, well, it's another title defense. For you, how hard or easy is it for you to just, 100% focus on this guy, this is who I'm going through next?
Well, for me, like, your next fight is always the most important fight, you know. But more wins means more money, means more this, more just everything, you know. So I've got I want this new house. I want the girls to have a good life. I want to invest in property and stuff. Every fight is so important that every fight I'll invest everything in winning the next fight, you know. So I'm incredibly. I've been bloody arranging my next fight camp. I've already spent £2,000 somehow on this next fight camp. I'm not even remember getting £2,000. It's crazy, isn't it? But it needs spending. You've got to invest in yourself, and I won't overlook anybody, and I'm focused. Every fight I'm going to keep winning, you know.
Is this the best guy you've fought, do you think, in KSW?
It's a hard one, you know. I think Bedorf's had some motivation issues. I think Bedorf, I don't know, maybe him. Andreshak's incredibly dangerous for one round, and Narkun's fantastic as well. I would say, I don't know, it's hard to say, especially at heavyweight. But he's definitely good. I'm definitely not overlooking him. And what's happened in my last three fights is I came in underdog. I was a huge underdog. Then I was a big underdog. Then I was slight underdog. And it looks like I'm going to come in heavy favourite here, you know. And, I'm very superstitious, you know. It's worrying me that I'm going to come into the favourite.
I'm sure you'll be fine. One last question. It's something we like to ask everybody. Where do you see yourself in 18 to 24 months? Where do you think you're going to be in the next 18 to 24 months?
I'm on the cusp of signing a new contract at the moment. Wow. So I'm still going to be heavyweight KSW champion. I would like to do cross promotion. That'd be amazing. Maybe be champion of somewhere else as well. And I don't know. I feel like I'd like them to bring some talent in for the fight as well. You know. So we'll see. But I see myself at KSW for the foreseeable future.